If you have ongoing exposure to controlling people, it's a virtual certainty that you're going to experience blurry boundaries, which is why I've created the extensive online course called This Is Me, Establishing Boundaries with the Controllers in Your Life. There's a link below that will give you all of the details, and I hope that you would find it therapeutic. I want you to go back into your deep history and recall some times when you struggled, let's say as a 7-year-old kid or a 10-year-old kid, you struggled with the thought of how far you should go in revealing some of your flaws and your inadequacies to the people around you. I mean, it could be that somebody has called you out on something that you did wrong, and instead of saying, yeah, you got me, as an 8-year-old kid, it's like, no, that's not what happened. This happened instead. I did that when I was a child. I'm sure you did that. So much of childhood involves a negotiation within oneself about how open and how honest we can be with the world in front of us. Now, in the healthiest sense, in those childhood years, we can get a lot of coaching, and that is followed up through behavioral reinforcement that says, it's really okay to be honest about who you are. And let's be open and let's talk about it. When you do blunder or when you make errors or when I'm disappointed in you, those are learning opportunities. Let's lean into that and see where it takes us. Narcissists, looking back, it's like, oh no, there's no way I'm going to do anything like that. When narcissists were young and then going through their adolescence and their early adult years and on, they drew the conclusion being open and being honest is way too risky. Now, notice as they proceed in the way that they engage with people, so much of their persona is built upon all sorts of non-truths. It's built upon the non-truth that they're supposed to somehow or another be in control of as many people as possible, or the non-truth that people owe me. In other words, their entitlement. Here's what you need to do for me. Or they build their lives upon the non-truth that there's no particular reason that they should be held accountable, or that your needs are relevant. That's not true. Or that you deserve respect. Now they deserve respect, but they go with the non-truth that says I do, but you don't. These individuals have determined long ago, and they continue on all the way into their adult years, thinking openness and honesty about who I really am doesn't work. I'm going to go ahead and buy off on all of these non-truths, and that's going to then become my persona. Now, we have a term for that, and the term is the false self. Narcissists are very invested in trying to present themselves as beyond the average or normal kind of person. They don't want you to know what's going on inside of them. They're more than happy to point out what's wrong with you, but when it comes time for them to say, I'm struggling as well. I'm not ideal. I get it. And when you catch me in the moments of my non-ideal way of thinking, why don't we talk it through and let's see if we can have a team atmosphere so that we can all work on this in the same direction. You won't hear them do that. For growth to happen and for you to set aside your narcissism, you would need to be able to say, I have some serious work to do within myself. I have negatives that need to be minimized, and I have some positives that I want to learn to maximize. How hard is that? And if you're healthy, you're going to do that. But the narcissists, as they hide behind that false self that they've constructed, they can't say words like, I'm flawed. On many levels, I'm flawed. Or I know that I hurt other people. That needs to stop. Or they can't say, I can't go on blaming everyone else for the rest of time. At some point, I've got to take responsibility for how I contribute to some of the difficulties that I'm involved in. They won't say that. Behind their false self, they're unable to say, my egotism sometimes runs away with me. I need to learn how to embrace humility. In fact, I need strong doses of humility in my life. Wouldn't that be nice? But the false self's like, nope, that doesn't belong to me. Or it would be nice to hear them say, I could certainly use some guidance. Therapy would certainly work out well for me. I think I could take advantage of that. They won't say that. Or if they do go to therapy, it's because they're trying to impress the therapist so they can then have ammunition against other individuals. Or they can't say, I'm willing to look into other people's needs and feelings as a team member. I want to know what makes you hurt or what makes you struggle so that we can work on this together. Unfortunately, these individuals are so habituated to their false persona. They're so stuck with all of the lies that go along with that false persona that they're unable to have that sense of openness and honesty that would be required for personal growth. Now, there are reasons for this. The reason they hide behind this false self is, in their mind, their shame is too strong. It's like, if I put myself out there as a flawed, mistaken person, I'm going to look really bad. And they can't deal with that. Or in addition, they have a warped thinking that says, well, the best way for me to solve my problems is to best you. And so they're highly competitive, as if somehow or another that makes them okay. Personal growth is not a comparative thing. It's about just being honest about who you are. In addition, part of the reason that they remain stuck inside this false self is they're confused about the definition of a good life. They think it may have something to do with bling or status or power or just looking right or stepping over people. That's not the good life at all. But try to tell that to a narcissist and they don't get it. They completely dismiss the idea that love is the ultimate, and love requires acceptance of oneself in the midst of their flaws and of other individuals. Now, they'll say they love people, but what they mean is they like to be admired, and so they like setting up scenarios so that might happen. But that true acceptance and the patience and the tenderness that goes with it isn't there. Instead, they falsely presume that the winners are those who wield power. The winners are those who do not show vulnerability. The winners are the ones who stay behind that false shield and let everybody else squirm. Now, if a person is to get beyond the narcissism that they are trapped inside of, there would be one quality that they would need to embrace, and this would be such anathema to most narcissists, is one word. It's the quality of surrender. Now, when I say surrender, you think of that person with the white flag, It's like, I give up. Uncle, I quit. I'm not doing that false self stuff anymore. That's not a winning proposition. If you have this sense of surrender in your life, it means that you would lay down the absurd notion that you have to be superior. I don't need to do that anymore. I surrender to that. Or it means that you would name the flaws that you have, or you would own some of the irresponsibilities that you've been involved in. They can't do that either. Or a part of your surrender would require you to say, I'm struggling. I hurt. Would you help me? They can't say that. Now, that's too threatening to them. If you were to go into that surrender, you would drop the need to build yourself up by diminishing those in your presence. You would recognize, that's not a good proposition. That's not a good way of doing life. They're not able to do that. Their false self won't let them go there. Instead, in surrender, they would say to you and anyone else that would want to join them, why don't we all go on that same journey toward healthiness together? Let's lay down competitiveness. Let's lay down the need to control. Let's lay down entitledness. And let's take our journey toward love. Let's go on the same path toward kindness. Let's commit to goodness and figure out what that looks like and how that would inform the way that we engage with each other. Let's recognize the interdependence that we all have and be there with and for one another. Let's see if we can create an atmosphere that allows us to find our place of peace. Now, surrendering means that you lay down the false self and all of the presumption of superiority that goes along with it, and you take the mask off and you say, I'm just like other souls here on this planet. I'm not ideal. I have pluses, I have minuses, just as you do. They're not able to do that. Their commitment to that false self is far too strong. So my question to you is, okay, first, can you see this in them and at least stay out of the competitiveness that they want to draw you into? And then can you be the one that says, well, I don't feel the need to have a false self. Now, with certain people, there's going to be some things I just don't want to talk about or discuss or disclose simply because they're not mature enough to know what to do with it. But when at all possible, I want to be somebody that says I'm authentic, I'm open, I'm honest about who I am. I'm going to lay down those non-truths that people tend to want to live with as they engage with other individuals. I am going to be a person that says, talk to me. I'm an open book. What you see is what you get. I'm anchored in the truth. First, the truth about me, and then the truth about what it takes to live properly. Wouldn't it be nice if you could get something like that from a narcissist? It's not going to happen, but here on Team Healthy, let's just continue to say that's what we're committed to and that's what we're going to lean into. I hope that videos such as this can give you a good insight into what you're dealing with when you are talking about this whole topic of narcissism and you're engaging with those folks. If you've not already done so, I would encourage you to hit that subscribe button and then the notification bell that goes along with it. We'll have plenty more videos coming your way. I appreciate you letting me be on the journey with you. If you have a need for therapy, I mentioned that just a minute ago. We have a sponsor who has, it's for an online therapy service. And there's a whole team of licensed professional therapists that you could go to. There's a link below and you could choose somebody that could work that through with you. And I've had very good input from people about that. And of course, right now, online therapy is so common and popular these days. In addition, we have my courses. And these are extended videos. Well, we have multiple videos with each course. This is me, free to be. About setting boundaries, about finding yourself, multiple videos and teaching points and questions that go along with those. And they're meant to have a therapeutic value, and it requires a lot of work from you. But we have them there so that can be a part of your therapeutic growth. We have my books and other resources below. Okay, narcissists are stuck. They're trapped inside their false self because they can't be honest about all the non-truth that goes along with it. I hope that you can see straight through it, and I hope that at the very least you can say, I'm somebody that's committed to openness and true honesty because I really want to stand for the things that are right and good, dignity, respect, and civility. And in doing so, I hope that I can be one who lives inside of peace and who spreads peace to those who would wish to share it with me.